Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My wife and life partner, Lordina Dramani Mahama, Professor Nana Jane Okoko Ajiman, our 2020 running mate, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, representing our founder, Jerry John Rawlings, and our Council of Elders, our National Chairman, our General Secretary, Right Honorable Second Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable former Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Minority Leader, Chairman and members of our National Campaign Team for Election 2020, members of our National Executive Committee, my media friends, our invited guests, party activists and foot soldiers, assorted professional groups, ladies and gentlemen, on a day like this, we can't help but remember many of our comrades who have contributed their quota to bring us to this point, but who no longer are with us. The list is too long, but I acknowledge in particular my teacher, my friend, my comrade, my mentor, Professor John Ivan Satamils, of blessed memory, my able Vice President, Parkwesi Emisa Arthur, many other of our departed faithful, Comrade J, our former chairman, Dr. and Mrs. Mary Grant, and so many others who are not with us today. We acknowledge them, we salute them, and may their souls rest in perfect peace. This world is changing fast and in truly fundamental ways. Global climate change, migration, terrorism, racial tensions, and lately COVID-19 are throwing up new challenges that are testing the quality of leadership of every nation. The stress tests nations are going through are revealing fissures based on developmental models and paradigms used by those countries. In many cases, countries considered relatively less advanced with smaller economies are emerging more resilient and less affected by the global shocks than some countries that are considered advanced. The case of Vietnam, a relatively smaller country bordering China and therefore closer to the original source of the coronavirus pandemic, has survived much better with relatively less infections and deaths than known global superpowers. Therefore, never in the history of the world has the quality of a country's leadership been more critical to its survival than now. Leadership that has been proactive and visionary have emerged from the shocks with less effects on their people and economies. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for our beloved country, Ghana. Our economy is in tatters, and as I said, in intensive care, and we are on track to post the highest ever fiscal deficit in our history since the beginning of the Fourth Republic. Excessive borrowing over the last 4 years have placed Ghana in a high debt risk category with absolutely nothing to show for it. Job losses are at an all-time high, with layoffs and business collapses becoming the order of the day. The capital and lifetime savings of small businesses and households have been eroded by the not too well thought through financial sector cleanup. Business confidence is at an all-time low, with many Ghanaian businesses struggling to stay afloat. Ghanaians are tired and hungry, while an elite few have access to all the opportunities the nation has to offer. Our institutions have been politicized, and there's a gradual erosion of our democratic space. Government has clearly failed to contain the COVID virus and has given up providing timely statistics and data on the status of COVID-19 in our nation. Despite the huge resources that have been made available to Ghana by the IMF, the World Bank, and withdrawals from our stabilization fund, government has failed in its COVID-19 alleviation and containment program. Public education has been poor. Food distribution during the lockdown was chaotic and disorderly. Protective gear remains in short supply, thereby putting our frontline health workers at risk. It is critical that we rescue Ghana from the abyss into which it is sinking. My comrades and friends, we must prepare Ghana to cope with the current global challenges. We must open new horizons and new hopes to instill a new sense of purpose in our people, catching up on what we have missed while taking steps to enhance our growth. We must place Ghana in sync with the new developments taking place around the world in order that we prepare our economy to become an advanced one. To achieve this, we must build a knowledge-based economy and move faster into the new world of smart manufacturing and digital services. This will generate not only growth, but prosperity for all Ghanaians. We'll create not only jobs, but sustainable and decent jobs, so that people can live prosperous and dignified lives. We must put Ghanaian businesses at the center of our economic growth. It is only when Ghanaian businesses thrive that our economy can grow and create jobs and prosperity for our people. We must create equal opportunities for all Ghanaian businesses and not deal with them based on political color or family affiliation of their owners. My brothers and sisters, I've had the unique and humbling privilege of providing leadership as president, stepping back, and being elected again to lead the National Democratic Congress into the December 2020 elections. It has therefore given me the opportunity during this period to reflect soberly on the challenges and expectations of governance and the heavy burden of people's hopes and aspirations that come with it. Ghana cannot afford to do things the old way. Survival and success for today and the future generations require a much more urgent and, in many cases, substantial change to prevailing economic and social relations. Ghana needs a new era of social justice. It is time for renewal and coming together. It is time for greater self-reliance. It is time to close the wealth gap that divides our society and create greater equality amongst our people. It is time to finally end intolerance and social discrimination against ethnic groups, religious groups, gender and age groups. It is time to end repression of the media. It is time to unite and create opportunities for all our people and not just a privileged few. It is time to do this democratically with the full involvement of all our people. With this in mind, we set out to develop the People's Manifesto, a social contract between the NDC and the people of Ghana. To make our manifesto writing process widely consultative and popular, we adopted a bottom-up approach. In addition to internal consultations within the NDC, with our grassroots organs engaged, their communities, we forwarded their expectations to our Manifesto Committee for Inclusion. I was also privileged to hold town hall meetings with representatives of different socioeconomic groupings. I sought to derive a consensus on what the new NDC government must do and how we must do it, and what role citizens want to play in our forward march. I want to thank all the professional groups that gave us a hearing and contributed meaningfully to this document that we're going to launch today. The idea was to distill this knowledge that we acquired from them and make a commitment in our manifesto to the people of Ghana. Our consultative process was interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. We did not, however, abandon our objectives. We continued using technology and small group meetings to further these consultations. 6 months later, the pandemic is spreading even faster, with more disruptive effects on our lives than the current government had anticipated. From all indications, COVID-19 will continue to plague the world for some time to come. But this manifesto lays the foundation for the renewal of our institutions and progress for all. It is my hope that you will identify the ideals of our People's Manifesto and vote for John Mahama and for the great NDC team and engage us with a view to holding us to our commitment on program delivery. I believe that there are great times ahead for our people. All of us, myself included, learned a lot of valuable lessons during the period of preparing this manifesto. The most important was the growing and humbling understanding of the fact that the December elections will be unlike any other election in our recent history. It will be an election of destiny. It will be an election of the future. It will be an election of the future of our children and our grandchildren. This election will be about the very soul of a new Ghana. Our historic mission right now is to provide our fellow Ghanaians with the opportunity to become a part of tomorrow's world and offer our beloved country a clear chance to spread prosperity to all our people and move into the status of an advanced middle-income country within the next 5 years. It is possible together. We can do it with the right and dedicated leadership. We owe it to our wonderful people to create new job opportunities, to bring new skills, and to provide better chances for everyone so that all of us will be able to live a dignified life. It is time now, my brothers and sisters. That time is now. The change we all desire starts now. Let us all join hands to create the country that we wish for. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. May God bless each and every one of us. May God make our country great and strong. And so, at this point, I'll take you through a few highlights of our manifesto, not in any particular order. NDC is a social democratic party. We subscribed to a compassionate political philosophy, and we believe in social justice. We create opportunities for all to develop to their fullest potential. We focus on an inclusive effort to safeguard the jobs of today and create sustainable jobs for the future. Our manifesto is our social contract with the people of Ghana, and we will create a bright future for Ghana and for every Ghanaian. Our priorities are to build a sustainable society with opportunities for all, to promote human development, to continue to prioritize healthcare, quality education, and skills training as the cornerstone for progress and prosperity. The US $10 billion accelerated infrastructure plan, dubbed the Big Push, will create jobs for the multitude of our people. We'll provide infrastructure for accelerated development, and will fix the economy as we unite against poverty, create sustainable jobs under our Ejumapa program, promote good governance, integrity, anti-corruption, transparency, and accountability, and deepen the international relations amongst our sister nations. Uniting against poverty, that is the economy. Ghana's economy is not working for the people, it's working for only a few. Ghana's economy is not working for the people, it's working for only a few. We will fix the economy and make it work for all Ghanaians. We'll fight the disastrous effect of the poor economic management of this administration. The NDC has the experience to turn around this dire economic situation to bring relief to the suffering masses of Ghana. We will sanitize the financial sector. On the macro front, unprecedented mounting public debt, depreciating cedi amongst others, are all a telltale sign of an economy in deep distress. We will roll out prudent macroeconomic measures anchored in sound management. We will bring the public debt under control. We will stabilize and strengthen the long-suffering cedi, reduce inflation, ensure a low progressive taxation regime, and restore inclusive growth. We will make the business environment friendly again, provide unprecedented job-related stimulus packages for the private sector, and most importantly, increase Ghanaian participation and stake in our economy. And we'll put an end to the vindictive targeting and collapse of Ghanaian businesses and its attendant job losses. We've done all this before. We ensured the most stable and prosperous period of economic management in Ghana's history. We ensured the highest ever GDP growth rate in the history of Ghana. We ensured the longest sustained period of single-digit inflation in economic management in the history of Ghana. We implemented fiscal prudence, and for the first time managed the 2016 budget with zero borrowing from the central bank. The NDC established the Ghana Exim Bank to promote jobs and exports. The NDC will again generate economic growth that creates infrastructure and sustainable jobs. We will usher Ghana into an era of shared prosperity, and all Ghanaians will reap the fruits of their labor. We need to turn our beloved country Ghana into an advanced one, and we must eradicate poverty. It is possible, and we will do it. How will we achieve these targets? How will we achieve these targets? We will exempt small businesses from paying corporate and personal income tax. That is to re-inject their profits back into the businesses. We estimate that this will involve about 1.4 billion Ghana cedis a year. And that will be the best stimulus you can inject back in order to expand small and medium enterprises. For medium-sized Ghanaian businesses, we will reduce the corporate income tax rate from 25% to 15% in order to give them breathing room to be able to reinvest in and grow their businesses. But very interesting, we will exempt newly established medium-sized companies that employ up to 20 people or 20 workers from paying corporate income tax for the first year when they are establishing the business. This is important because the most critical time in establishing a business is the first year when you are investing. And when you are investing, it's not the right time for government to come asking you to bring money. And so we will give them that relief. And for businesses that employ 20 or more, medium-sized businesses, they will get corporate tax exemption for 2 years so that they can establish the business properly and expand the business to employ more people. We'll exempt commercial vehicles and other commercial equipment imported into the country from commercial, industrial, and agricultural purposes from import duty. We will review the Customs Amendment Act 2020, that's Act 1014, to scrap the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles to scrap the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles and the proposed imposition of a 35% import duty rate. We are going to scrap it, and in order that salvage vehicles are not banned, and the top duty rate that government proposes to impose on these vehicles does not happen. This is to save the local automotive industry so that our people in Swami Magazine, Konkompe, Aboseokai, Thank you. This is to allow our people in the local automotive industry in Swami Magazine, Konkombe, Aboseokai to continue to work to earn a decent living. We encourage vehicle assembly plants investing in Ghana as a complement to our local industry, not to cancel out our local industry. We will reverse the decoupling of VAT 12.5%, NHIL 2.5%, Get Fund 2.5%, which has brought untold hardship onto Ghanaian businesses and households. We will introduce a rural investor incentive package to create meaningful employment opportunities for the youth, especially in rural areas, and investors in rural communities. Under this program, they will be exempted from dividend and capital gains tax. And then B, if they employ up to 50 persons, they will be granted tax exemptions and further incentives on the importation of capital equipment. We'll provide special tax incentives for indigenous value chain industries such as mineral processing, petroleum-based industries, agro-based, pulp and paper industries in order to unlock sustainable job opportunities. Among others, we'll review the Rent Act to provide tax incentives to landlords and real estate investors to reduce the cost of rent advances for residential and commercial purposes. Restructure the Rent Control Office into a Ghana Rent Authority to effectively implement the new Rent Act in the interest of tenants and landlords. We will increase the District Assembly's Common Fund back to 7.5% from the 5% that the current government has put it. This will make sure that enough revenue goes to the district assemblies to function effectively and provide adequately for people in the decentralized districts, and also for people with disabilities. We'll promote local content for local contractors in all sectors of the economy to increase the contribution of Ghanaians to a minimum of 55% of GDP and improve Ghanaian ownership and participation of our economy. Amend the Public Procurement Act to give priority to Ghanaian businesses in the award of contracts financed from public funds. Within a year in office, we will pay the full amount due every victim of the reckless handling of the financial sector cleanup. Conduct a forensic audit on the entire financial sector cleanup exercise, including the Ghana Amalgamated Trust. Set up a financial services authority to regulate the financial service industry, protect consumers, and ensure fair competition in the financial service sector. Ensure a well-tiered financial system to cater for the various segments of the market, such as SMEs. The idea behind this is you don't need every bank to have a capital reserve of 400 million. So we'll create several tiers so that there will be banks that want to lend to small and medium enterprises, and a capital reserve of 100 million will be enough for them. Amend the National Pensions Act 2008, Act 766, to improve both service delivery and financial efficiency of the SNIT pension scheme. Allow contributing workers, such as private teachers, amongst others, who lose their jobs suddenly due to natural occurrences, such as COVID-19 pandemic, to be paid stipends while they search for a new job. And this is important. Allow workers who have contributed for a minimum period of 10 to 15 years to use their contribution as collateral to access mortgage loans for housing. We will pay pensioners, and they'll be happy about this, an annual 13th month bonus. Under the Ghana Framework for Industrial Revitalization, Support and Transformation, which we call Ghana First, we will boost the real sector of the economy And the 16 strategic growth areas are going to be agriculture and agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, health tourism, light manufacturing, including apparels, accessories, and assemblages, educational service exports, financial services, furniture, ICT business services and logistics, oil and gas petroleum sector, strategic minerals including salt, tourism, tree crop development, coastal landscape and forest management, afforestation, infrastructure, construction, waste management and recycling, and high-tech manufacturing, including chemicals. To stimulate economic growth and create opportunities for sustainable jobs through agri-business, we will realign the Ministry of Food and Agriculture into a Ministry of Agriculture and Agribusiness. This is to capture the full value chain, because we've concentrated only on production, and when we have produced, we don't have the capacity to process the produce and make them available to the market. We'll put Ghana on the path of self-sufficiency in the production of commodities and also for exports. We'll delineate agro-production and processing zones for medium to large-scale production. These include examples like Brong-Ahafo is the leading producer of cashew nuts, but yet we don't have an active cashew processing capacity in Brong-Ahafo. And so we'll put that in. There are places that are good at ginger production. We'll process the ginger into ginger powder, ginger oil for export. There are places that are producing rice. We'll put rice milling equipment so that we can mill the rice for the local market and, if possible, for export. Provide micro-processing equipment to farmers, to farmer cooperatives. For instance, in the palm oil growing area, if you give a group of farmers, a cooperative, a small processing mill to be able to process their palm oil for the market, it will add value to what they are doing. In the cocoa sector, cocoa processing for value addition will ensure the processing of at least 50% of our cocoa beans locally before we export. We'll restore the distribution of fertilizer inputs and free fertilizer inputs and seedlings to cocoa farmers. Support small cocoa processing companies and artisanal cocoa products, process and market finished and semi-finished cocoa products, in addition to raw cocoa beans, amongst many others. Government support to pharmaceutical industries. Roll out a pharmaceutical industry financial and technical support program. We've done this in the past. When I was president, we financed the pharmaceutical industries to the tune of 50 million Ghana cedis, and it enabled some of them to be able to begin to export into the sub-regional market. We will enhance this so that Ghana becomes a hub for pharmaceutical manufacturing in West Africa. We'll develop a national policy to restructure the small-scale mining sector. We'll set up what we call a gold board. This board will be responsible for small-scale mining sector to provide mining support services, and especially in the area of safety. We will attach mining safety officers and graduates from the University of Mines and Technology to all small-scale mining companies to ensure that they do the mining in safety and according to the regulations. We'll train small-scale miners in land reclamation techniques as a critical component of their operations. We'll promote legally and properly operated medium and small-scale mining to become attractive and well-paid business ventures, creating jobs for our youth. We'll reissue confiscated legitimate mining licenses to miners. For persons whose mining concessions have been illegitimately seized, we shall return the concessions to the legitimate owners. We will track down and take back all excavators that are missing. And we will return the excavators to their rightful owners. We will establish mini gold refineries in the gold-producing regions of our country in conjunction with the private sector. And we will halt the export of unrefined gold produced by small-scale mining companies. The central bank will play a role in financing and certificating high-quality gold bullion for export. We will hold a portion of our international reserves in gold to help stabilize our economy and our currency. Many other things. I will increase demand for locally manufactured goods, and we will use government's purchasing power to stimulate demand for made-in-Ghana goods by directing all MDAs to patronize made-in-Ghana goods. We'll encourage the private sector to establish marketing companies to service local SMEs and manufacturers. And then it continues. We'll modernize our markets using a mini KJTR model. And so markets like Aflao, Mankesim, Techiman, and others will get a smaller version of a KJTR market. Promote local production of hygiene goods, especially for women, including sanitary pads, through training and support for startups. Revive the textile industry by providing support to local textile companies such as Akosombo and Drop-on Textiles. Establish agro-processing factories in various districts in collaboration with the private sector, such as fruit processing in Lower Manya, cashew processing in Bono and Bono East, amongst others. Now the big push, 10 billion big push. And I'll rush through this very quickly. The $10 billion big push for infrastructure development and economic transformation will involve an investment of 10 billion over 5 years. It will transform our economy in furtherance of our 1 million jobs plan. Projects under the big push will be executed in all cases by Ghanaian registered companies that pay their taxes in Ghana. This is to ensure that the money circulates within Ghana. And so if you want to participate, your business should be registered in Ghana and pay taxes in Ghana. These investments will stimulate and grow indigenous Ghanaian businesses. The 10 billion investment will be directed to stimulate the economy by sourcing as much as possible locally available materials and products for the execution of the projects. Now, key areas under the big push: provide infrastructure for agriculture and agribusiness, such as warehouses, silos, irrigation dams, farmer service centers, etc. Develop regional digital and innovation centers. Develop 5G technology. Upgrade and dualize all our major national roads. Complete the eastern and western corridor roads. Upgrade other major national highways, urban and feeder roads. Expand the railway network by implementing the 2014 Railway Master Plan. Construct a domestic airport in Upper East Region. The land was secured when I was president, and it's a project that we will continue. Extend the runway of the Kumasi International Airport to accommodate bigger aircraft. Upgrade the Sunyani Airport. Engineer and construct major markets, starting with Aflao, Mankesim, Techiman, Kintampo, Sampa, Elubu, Nima, and Asesewa. Construct social housing in all districts of the country. Expand rural electrification. Water supply, sewage, and sanitation systems. Complete all abandoned hospital and health projects. Construct new district and regional polyclinics, health centers, and CHIPS compounds in all the districts. Construct 2 new infectious disease centers. expand the 37 military hospital as the national emergency center, complete all the E-blocks and the abandoned community day secondary schools, construct new schools at the basic level by removing schools under trees and other substandard schools, provide universities in the new regions that do not have any, build modern theaters and studios for the development and promotion of the creative arts, complete feasibility and continue the implementation of a specialized port on the eastern seaboard of our country, and that refers to Keita. Construct a multi-purpose convention and exhibition center aimed at repositioning Ghana as West Africa's destination for meetings, conferences, and exhibitions. Refurbish the National Theatre. Upgrade NAFTI into a fully fledged multimedia university for film, arts, theatre, and music. Upgrade the National Sports College into a state-of-the-art sports university to serve the West African sub-region. Provide sports development facilities across the region, including stadia, mini stadia, and other facilities. Upgrade infrastructure linking tourism sites. Complete and operationalize the Swami and Dawa industrial parks. Establish new industrial parks and free zones in the industry-deprived regions. And under the 1 million jobs plan, which we have christened Ejumapa, will generate an average of 250,000 decent jobs every year. Our job creation policies will be rapidly deployed through needed interventions that are applied to ensure that all sectors of the economy give priority to the creation of sustainable and decent jobs. The 1 million jobs will be anchored on the big push, an aggressive infrastructure development for jobs. The 10 billion investment over 5 years will stimulate the economy and provide opportunities for businesses to grow, create new entrepreneurs, and employ more people. A national apprenticeship program to train technically skilled human resources for rapid industrialization, job creation, and entrepreneurship will be implemented. NAP, as we call it, will target 500,000 out-of-school youth, including Kayaye. Government will bear the cost of fees for their training, and they'll receive start-up kits on completion of their training. What this means is that we'll register master craftsmen in all the districts around the country. We'll register youth that are interested in going as apprentices to learn a skill, and we'll pay the master craftsmen to train them, and when they are finished, we'll give them the kits that they need to start work, whether sewing machines or hair dryers. Through a number of tax exemptions, micro, small, and medium enterprises will be able to plow back their profits, drive the digitization of the economy to provide new jobs, encourage establishment of new businesses, focusing on exports to help create more job opportunities, provide free training in coding to young people across the country, engage a minimum of 300,000 beneficiaries under the Youth Employment Agency, focus on skills acquisition, legalize and regulate Okada, legalize and regulate Okada business in order to make it safer and be an avenue for employment. Convert the labor office into a national employment center with offices in all the regions. Persons seeking jobs can register online, and employers who recruit from the National Employment Center database will receive tax incentives. It will also compile and maintain a national employment dashboard to track the number of jobs created every year. And getting to the end, social housing. Roll out social housing, I said that already, in every district. Implement a national mortgage assistance scheme and rent-to-pay agreements over 15 to 20 years. So if you are working and you have between 15 and 20 years to the end of your working life, you can be allocated one of the houses. The money you'd have paid for rent, you use it to pay and own the house. The mortgages will be priced in cedis, not in dollars, so that we insulate the house owners from the escalating value of the dollar. The rest is expand GIFEC to create a digital economy development fund to promote entrepreneurs with emphasis on youth and females. So GIFEC will help young entrepreneurs who want to go into digital services. Roll out a solid digital infrastructure to generate incremental value of more than 5 billion in a year. Develop a digital Ghana master plan. Ensure the efficient transfer of digital technologies and skills to unleash the innovative and entrepreneurial potentials of our young people. Commence the building of a national information highway, that's the Ghana Broadband Network, which utilizes 5G and fiber optic technologies. Move to an affordable universal licensing regime, including 5G, that allows flexibility for telecom companies to tap into new technologies. Identify and support young people to develop e-applications to support the delivery of public services. Introduce a uniform transactions fee to guide the electronic payments industry. Migrate all person-to-government payments onto electronic platforms. This is to speed up the achievement of a cashless society. And so these are some of the programs planned. There are many. It's a quite detailed manifesto. And so I'll take a break here, and I'll invite my running mate to go through some portions on human development, and then after that I will come and wrap up. Nana.